Okay, again with Barkai, we're going to talk about tips before jumping to 0 degrees. You talked about amazing things just to swim in cold water, because cold water can be hot for you. For me, it's chilly. You talked about a couple of tips in your talk in Israel. One of the things, and you're going to continue, is not to shake.
Yeah.
I stopped shaking before getting in the water and after, and it did an amazing difference in all my
Did you
sweat.
try it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not 0 degrees, but
okay.
I stopped. No more shaking.
Yeah.
And tell me about it.
Okay.
What does it do to
It is
the
a little
body?
bit controversial because some of the things that I say don't necessarily agree with the conventional research about hypothermia, okay? However, most of the research out there is done about people who are involuntary, got hypothermic involuntary accident. That's what happens most of the world. Most normal people, just about all people, don't just go and dive into the ice voluntary, okay? You have to be a little bit, yeah. So I found that when you come out, first of all, there's an after-drop, okay? A mixture of the blood. There is a mixture of rich blood with blood without oxygen in the limbs that causes other havoc in you, okay? In your blood pressure. So it's not just the cold. It's what the cold does to you when you come out. And I found out that if I let go, and I come out and said, okay, I had enough, and I start shivering and you know, and you can't even hold a cup of coffee and you can't talk. It actually hurts because you can let yourself shiver involuntary until
so you can't put the goggles off.
Yeah, and you can't put the goggles off, and and it's actually, you suffer. Okay? So I realized that the swim is not finished. When you're in cold water, the swim is not finished until you kind of come out of recovery. You're still cold, and you can be cold, a little bit cold for the rest of the day, but you're not in recovery anymore. Okay? So recovery is part of the swim, which is very different to many other sports, running, cycling. The minute you finish 100-kilometer marathon, you're done. Okay? People can carry you, that's it. Swimming, if you swim for half an hour in 0 degree, recovery can be from half an hour to a few hours. And it can be as unpleasant as the swim itself, if not more. So when you come out, first of all, get dry. The most important thing, I know that women, it's more difficult for them because they have a swimming costume. Take off your swimming costume up to here and put a dry t-shirt, get dry. I believe in heat.
That's also for cold water, not only for 0 degrees,
Yeah,
right?
for cold water. Cold water, yeah. Sometimes when you come out, and even if the sun is hot, it doesn't matter. Your skin temperature can be 14 or 15, and the blood that flows around the surface is still cold. It takes a while. So the first thing, if you have water on cold surface, it acts like a fridge. Dry yourself everywhere. Dry yourself. I like the sun on my naked skin. That hits me much better. So I sometimes tell people, don't put 3 layers on and get into a cocoon mode. Relax. Breathe. Breathing is...
It helps. It really, really helps.
Yeah, breathing. Well, breathing helps in any sport, okay?
Yeah.
The minute you're not in control of your breathing, everything can go wrong, okay? So carry on. As you come out of the water, don't let go, control your breathing. I usually tell people who stand like this, like, okay, look at me, take a deep breath. Another one. Stop the breathing. I don't mind if you shiver. Sorry, stop the shivering. I don't mind if you shiver as long as you can control it. So if you have a little bit of a, you know, every now and then I go like, a little bit like this, and people ask me, Ram, do you shiver? Sometimes, you know, when no one looks.
And another thing we talked about is that you don't like earplugs, and you only in 13 degrees you put a cap, right?
Yeah.
And 17, no cap.
Now look, when we trained to Antarctica, I swam in 10, 11 without a cap.
10, 11.
And
but the head really freezes.
You have no idea. We trained together, so we dive in, and we knew we start swimming, and it takes about 10 strokes, and suddenly your head feels like it's going to explode. Not a headache here. It's like the whole head is going to explode. So you raise your head, you speak a lot of French, and then you do another 10 stroke, and then you get used to it. And okay, there's a lot of nerves and very sensitive blood vessels around the brain, and also the brain is the part of your body that interpret and react to shocks and send instructions to the body.
And the earplugs, you swim without it?
I never swim with earplugs.
I don't like it as well, but I heard some people ice swimming put earplugs.
Yeah,
and
we had a debate, because in ice swimming we allowed nose clip and we allowed earplug, and some people said it helps or not. Theoretically, definitely help. Physically, mentally, for me, it's like wetsuit. If wetsuit and earplug and cap have a lot of mental aspect to them. Now I'm swimming with cap because sometimes I'm tired of the headache, and it's very difficult to take it off. Because, and if I know that if I take my cap off or if I start swimming with earplugs, it will be very difficult for me to get rid of the earplug. You know, it will be another safety comfort, okay? And I have to keep hard. For example, after a cold swim on some days, I deliberately don't have a hot shower. Okay? I shiver a little bit the whole day.
No hot shower.
No hot shower, yeah, because
after a hot shower, it took me like 4 hours to get used to it, and without a hot shower, it's like 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Well, if you go into a hot shower, you let go. If I go to a hot shower after a cold swim, I can stand there for an hour. It's so nice.
But it doesn't help.
Look, it does help.
Okay.
It does warm you up a little bit, but it also mentally you let go, and it's very difficult to get out of the hot shower. And you get out of the hot shower and you're cold because
cold shower after you're cold. Don't forget. I'm gonna check it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, because mentally, the minute you let go, it's not just a macho thing, that it's also telling the brain in some way, I'm okay. Don't worry about me, I'm okay. So the brain relaxes its, what do you call it? Its supervision mechanism on your body. So if I tell the brain, don't worry about my hands, they're not sore, you can convince yourself, okay, if your hands are sore, after 5 minutes you can convince yourself that it's not sore and it's okay, and you reduce the pain. The same way you can give yourself a headache if you think about it for 5 minutes, you will get a headache. Okay? If you concentrate, say, I'm going to have a headache, it's really sore here, in 5 minutes you're going to have a headache here. So
it's not only swimming, it's a way of life, it's a way of thinking.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah.
So let's talk about what do you eat, and afterwards we're going to talk about competitions around the world or events of ice swimming. But what do you eat? You know it's going to be cold, you work on your head. What do you eat before? What do you drink? You like your coffee, right, before?
I always have a really nice cup of coffee before a swim, okay? With 2 sugar. So I think nutrition, there are some people who believe that there is a certain nutrition that already developing for cold water. So first of all, I'm an athlete, so nutrition is important regardless whether the water is 0 or 20. I train a lot, we swim a lot, so we have to have a lifestyle of an athlete, you know? You have to swim well, you have to sleep well before big events, you can't drink too much alcohol before events. And all this
so beer is allowed, a small beer?
I don't drink beer, but I always have a double whiskey the night before I swim in the ice. Yeah, it's a tradition. Yeah. Eat healthy. eat stuff that that you feel comfortable with. Okay, and again, it's about every sport. Swimming in cold water, your abdominal muscle get very tight. I mean, I find it almost difficult to eat a few hours after an ice swim because my stomach is still like that.
But you're skinny for ice swimming. You're...
I'm skinny for ice swimming, so it's probably limit my distance comparing to some others. But I can handle the cold like people's 4 times my size.
How many ice swimming do you have? Do you count?
Look, I've done 8 ice miles, and I've done quite a few kilometers, and I've done few what we call nice miles. Nice mile is a nearly ice mile, where you have a mile at 5.1 degree. It's still bloody cold, and it's still 5.1 degree, but it doesn't go under the record book as an official swim because it's below 5. Yeah. But I do believe that nutrition is something that we will probably, and very interesting for me, the more professional or serious athlete coming into the ice, they will start to research what kind of things give you an advantage, or what kind of things you shouldn't eat.
What do you eat before a mile?
I'm lucky in some way that I'm celiac. Okay, I have a celiac disease, so I'm not allowed to eat gluten. I've got a severe allergy to gluten, so I don't eat pasta, bread.
But lots of people start.
Yeah, it's a big.
Even if they don't have to,
it's a big trend. It's very trendy now. Even my daughter's on a gluten diet because it's healthy. Okay. I started it 15 years ago because I have to. Okay, I've got a celiac disease. So by default, I don't eat food with preservative, creamy. I don't fill myself up on bread or dairy products. So I eat quite a basic food. When I go out, sometimes I'll have something fancy, but I eat what my body tells me. Not that I'm full, what my body tells me that I feel good the next morning. Okay? So if I eat something and in training I feel heavy or queasy or whatever, I'll usually try and remember what I ate. And before I swim, I eat a lot of chicken and rice. It's kind of my staple diet because I lived in Japan for many years. And vegetables. It's kind of, so before big swims, I'll eat very simple food. Nothing complicated that can cause me any discomfort. Cold water, the colder the water, the more intense the experience is. You guys know it from, you suddenly go from 19 to 15 degrees and your body goes like this. So you don't need anything else that naturally goes like this inside. Drink.
Whiskey.
Don't drink, what?
Whiskey.
Yeah, whiskey it's the night before, yeah. Drink, generally don't drink something too hot, too close to the swim, too much. Don't drink something cold, definitely. There are some channel swimmers that believe that you mustn't go to the toilet in the morning and start a cold swim with a really full bladder and keep it to the times when you're cold. The problem is that, I don't know if you know, but before you go into ice water, you need to go to the toilet like every 20 seconds, even for like another 2 drop and another 2 drop. So I can't hold it. And to swim, to have a wee in 0 degrees, I haven't mastered that yet. I need to do another 20 swims before I'll be able to do that.
Okay, after we talked about eating and what goes out, we're going to talk about competitions around the world, and you're going to tell us the competition in 2017.
Yes,
so we'll be with you in a second.